Well, we have begun the Chinese New Year. Happy New Year, the year of the fire horse. And with New Year's come new beginnings. And this is kind of building on the theme I had with Valentine's Day the other day. Hope you had a good one, by the way, whether you're in a relationship or not. Someone said that, and I think it's so profound because we're so busy judging people from their pasts, their past lenses. We look, in other words, we look at people through a past lens. And then when we, you know, embark on relationships and maybe want to find a candidate for a new relationship, we tend to look at their pasts, which I understand from a 3D perspective why you would look at somebody's past to see if they are going to be a good partner or not. The problem is we get too trivial about it. We start talking about, you know, things they may have done in the past, third party stories, wanting to know how many people they've been with, which is the most ridiculous thing ever because it's like you're never going to know. They don't even know. Sometimes, not everybody, of course. But we put too much emphasis on those things because we don't want someone to put one over on us, right? That's how we feel. Oh, but they did that when they were with so-and-so and, you know, whatever. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that, how could I word this? I'm not saying that there isn't a good reason for doing things like that, for looking into, like, you know, I know some people like to do background checks and all that other stuff. I get it. But I'm talking about in general, like, people change, you know? People change. And if you're in the company of somebody and you have a good feeling about it, I'm not talking about infatuation. I'm talking about a healthy, good feeling about it. And then someone tells you something about, oh, but they did this back in 1987 and blah, blah, whatever. It's like, you know what I mean? Maybe not even that far back. Oh, they did something 5 years ago. Oh, you sure you want to be with somebody like that? Da, 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 da. That is not fair. This person said, I can't remember who said it, where I heard it, but we are all born anew with each relationship. I know I am. I'm not going to take the baggage of old relationships into a new one. I wouldn't want somebody judging me for the mistakes I may have made. You follow what I'm saying? Now we have an ego, and, you know, especially if you're a guy, guys, especially because some of us could be very insecure and we don't want to be looked at as the fool or as a simp, as people like to say. That's such a, you know, the manosphere, or whatever the hell it's called, it can be helpful, but it's also very, there's a rabbit hole, a slippery slope that goes with. And it does a lot of damage. The whole pill thing does a lot of damage. It really screws with people's heads, especially, you know, younger people who are trying to learn, you know, about things. If that makes any sense. I just feel like, you know, the judging and the worrying about looking a certain way and trying to be all coy and all this other crap is just ridiculous, you know? And part of that is, oh, you know, I don't want to be with someone who had this happen, that did this in their past. And I don't want to be with somebody who did that. And I don't want to be with somebody. Now, granted, yes, there's no guarantee that they won't do those things again. So you have to be, I'm not saying be paranoid about it, but be aware. But we're all born anew in each relationship. People can change. I don't care what anybody says. People can change. This whole thing about, leopard not changing his spots and snake doesn't, something about the snake in the skin and whatever the words are. I know, but snakes do shed their skin. But anyway, the point I'm bringing out is that's old hat. That's just a cliche. And now there is truth to some of it, yes, because it's very hard for people to change. But there's always, if your heart is calling you to somebody, and you're worried about something they may have done in the past, give them the benefit of the doubt in the beginning. We have a chance to be born anew. We have a chance to start fresh. And, now once red flags get thrown out there, then yeah, pay attention to those. Don't be blind, even though love is blind, right? But we're born anew in each relationship. You can't judge, because we all have things that we're not proud of. You know what I mean? So do what feels the best. You know what I mean? Do what feels right at the deepest level. I hope that makes sense.